Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. Happy New Year. My name is Patrick. I am your host of the 30, also the founder of the Jackman Group LLC, a training and development company. I want to thank you for joining the conversation on this first episode of 2022. Wow. For those that's joining us for the first time, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. The 30, if you don't know, we are on each week. It's a weekly show where we highlight and we chat with leaders, entrepreneurs, small business owners, those that are doing some positive things in our communities, not just here in Rochester, but across the country and across the world. So thank you. Do me a huge favor. Make sure that you share this broadcast with someone. Do it right now if you can. If you're watching it live, if you're watching it in replay, thank you for joining us. You can go to the comments box. Just if you have a question or a comment, put it in the comment box. Make sure that you take care of business. Well, we have some dynamic guests on all of our broadcasts. We've been broadcasting now, let's see, over a year. We started back in 2020. So we're coming up on 2 years in April. So we have some dynamic guests each episode. And today is no other. We have the president and CEO of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes, Jennifer Lake. She is joining us, and I'm excited to talk with her, talk about her leadership style. What about leadership? And also talk about the things that are going on at Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. Just to be transparent, all right, I am a board member of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes, so just to be transparent. But Jen is a good friend and an excellent leader, so I'm excited to talk with her. At the end of our conversation, don't click off. You want to stay because I have some exciting things to share with you at the end of my conversation with Jen. So stick around. Let's get this party started and let's go. As I said, let's go. Let's go. I am going to bring Jen in because I don't want to waste any time. I have a lot of questions for her. So I'm going to bring her in and let her introduce herself and give you a brief background of who she is, what she does. So let's welcome her. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Hi, Patrick. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. So I don't want to waste any time because we have a short time, probably about 23 minutes or so. So Jen, tell our viewers and listeners, who is Jennifer Lake and what does she do?
Oh, great question. Well, I think most importantly, I'm a mom. So I'm a mom to Maddie, try to be supportive wife, though with my day job, that's not always the easiest to my husband, Matt. I'm a Fisher, St. John Fisher for Rochester listeners. I'm a double alum there. I'm an elder at my church and a friend and colleague to many in the community and a proud board member of some other local organizations. But my biggest responsibilities, aside from raising another human, is the president and CEO for Goodwill of the Finger Lakes.
Awesome. Great. You have so many responsibilities. Let's talk specifically about Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. So how long have you been the president and CEO of the organization?
I consider myself really blessed because I've been the president and CEO since April of 2020. And while there's never an ideal time for a leadership transition, I really feel blessed that the transition happened right at the start of the pandemic because it really allowed me as a leader to truly live my core values and really help the organization at a time when there was so much uncertainty, find our way while also doing so much more for the community.
Awesome, great. Now, and if you go on the website, and I think I question you on this, or my wife asked me, so what is that? So I'm going to throw it out to you. Goodwill of the Finger Lakes is a social enterprise organization. Tell our viewers and listeners, what is social enterprise?
It is a great question. So a social enterprise is an organization whose main purpose, their main goal, is promoting social good rather than making a profit for shareholders. So social enterprises exist in the not-for-profit space, like Goodwill. Goodwill is a very well-known social enterprise that has specific business operations that it operates to employ people with barriers to independence, while also generating the funding that it needs for its community-based programs. And there's some great for-profit examples of this. You know, Tom's is a company, it's a shoe company, and really their goal is to treat their employees well, while also for every pair of shoes they sell, giving a pair away, because they believe that, you know, shoes are a pathway, and they prevent illness and have economic upward mobility. So in our, you know, type of organization, it really is a not-for-profit. So we are a 501c3 organization that lives our mission really through employment of individuals with barriers to independence, while also offering phenomenal community programs across 20 counties in upstate New York.
Great. And tell us about the different areas within the organization. I know when people hear Goodwill, they kind of match it with stores, right? Donating or purchasing things from the Goodwill store. But I know there is much more to Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. So could you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about the organization?
That is so true, Patrick. Goodwill is known for its stores and its donation centers, and really is one of the original recyclers, really making sure that we look out for the planet, at the same time helping our neighbors, you know, from the standpoint of creating jobs and also allowing people to shop and have the dignity that they need. And in our case, Goodwill is so much more than a store. We have business operations in manufacturing. We're ISO 9001. We're actually the first contact center in the United States to employ individuals solely with disabilities. And then that's grown to now also include operation of our 211 Lifeline. So 211 is that information number that you can call across all 50 states to get questions answered about different social service information, basic needs support. And in our case, across the Finger Lakes, we're also the National Suicide Hotline as well. We have food service operations, and what we were founded for is actually for our expertise in low vision services and vision rehabilitation for individuals who are blind or visually impaired. And we're very proud of that history and that competency around really having accessible jobs and believing in the power of what someone can do flows across all of our business operations. And like other not-for-profits, we have administration and fundraising and finance. So we're actually almost 700 employees strong across the region. And annually, we are right about a little bit over than a $50 million organization. And excitedly, we are serving hundreds of thousands of people each year across our entire region.
Wow, that's great, Jen. So let's talk now about. So we know about the organization. Let's talk about the person, Jennifer Lake. So, would you have thought that at this venture you would be president and CEO of such a fantastic organization?
I did not, you know, and I think that's the story for all of us as individuals, that, you know, we are all capable of greatness, and usually more than we see for ourselves. And, you know, for me, I have had so many disparate opportunities over my lifetime, and each of them, be it a personal opportunity to experience something, to travel or to learn from different individuals, or professional working in various sectors, I look back and it seems disjointed. And yet, now that I am in this particular role, each of those opportunities, each of those lessons uniquely prepared me for a different facet of what it now means to lead this organization, especially during the pandemic with so much uncertainty, and the importance of being able to be calm and in control when there is so much chaos, and reassuring about directionally what we are doing and what we can control, and how we can help in those moments. But, looking even, I would say 10 years ago, I don't know that I saw being a CEO. I know that I wanted to really know that what I was doing mattered, and I could be proud. Why I got into a not-for-profit role was because I wanted to be able to talk to my future children about the work that I did, and specifically how they could be proud, and I could be proud knowing that everything I do matters, and is helping people, and is making this world a better place. And um, I think it's those opportunities, those conversations you've had that really shape those beliefs and those behaviors, that prepare you to know that, what, I don't have the answers. I have some good experiences, and I have a strong team of colleagues to support me. And, for me, what people would say that know me is I'm the first to talk about how incompetent I am in certain settings, and how important it is for me to have people around me who are really good at all of that. And I think that honest reflection is just so important for leaders.
Great. So let's go down that road. I got two questions for you. The second one is going to be about your role and responsibilities, but I want to just continue what you just said about the importance of a leader having good people around them. Where did that come from? And you said it, so you are a believer in it. Where did you learn that? And do you think that is lacking in today's leaders? Or do you think it is something that you see in other leaders, most of the leaders that you engage with?
I think we're at a pivotal moment where the world was turned upside down, and what worked for so many for so long
Mhm.
just isn't going to work anymore. And why that's important is, you know, the veil's been pulled back, and I think in a lot of ways, leaders or individuals fooled themselves into this reality that we could control things, and do our best to isolate ourselves, and that you always need to project this, I'm competent, I'm capable, I'm Teflon, when in reality, that mindset, all it does is show others that you can't show vulnerability, you don't want to ask for help, you have to do everything yourself. And yet, when we look across multiple sectors, there's people that have given opportunities along the way that have helped you accomplish things.
Mhm.
And in any other setting, seeking out information, whether that's knowledge, whether that's talking to someone who knows what they're doing, is what you're supposed to do. Everyone knows on a home improvement project, check out a book, actually ask someone who does this for a living. Don't just pretend you know how to fix pipes and plumbing if you don't, because it's going to be a lot more expensive. But yet we get into a work setting and people feel like they have to have all the answers.
Sure.
And that is so wrong in the sense that we have to know our own limitations and be able to draw on past experiences and make the best decision we can. And that breeds this need to rely on other people and to be honest about where you are strong, where others are stronger, and be comfortable in who you are, in your own role, in your leadership, that you will seek that out and specifically value individuals with additional experiences that you don't have, and be okay with that. And I think in a lot of ways, that is what these next generations are expecting. They want leaders that are transparent, that act with integrity, and that value people for what they're bringing to the table, because we know our world is so much richer when we have those different perspectives and different strengths. And all the research backs that up. So for me, I am the first to point out that I don't have the answers, that I don't always know what I'm doing. And that's why I have this individual or this individual who's leading, because they do.
So you go and says, "Hey, I don't have this answer, but can you help me?"
Absolutely.
Right,
And
right.
that asking for help is so important, and it really is such a sign of strength. And as the leader, it is also a sense of relief.
Hmm.
Because when you're trying to control things, when you are tricking yourself into believing that only you have the answers, or that only you can lead this organization singularly to what we're supposed to be doing, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of stress and anxiety. And at the end of the day, I know the buck stops with me, and I will be accountable for when things don't go as planned. At the same token, I know that it's not just about me. And that allows me to be okay attending, a performance, at my daughter's school, or, being available to my family, because I appreciate that there's other people around me sharing that load. And that's for us, from our board, all the way down to volunteers who believe in our organization so much that they are, really part of how we deliver what we do for our community.
Awesome. Alfreda Jackson says, "Awesome, Miss Jen. Great information." So you got a fan there, Jen. Let's talk about some of the responsibilities, your role and responsibilities as president and CEO. Give us a glimpse into a day in the life of president and CEO of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes.
I wish there was a typical day. And honestly, Patrick, it's why I love it. Because there are certain pieces that don't change in terms of, my ability to interact with amazing individuals who have such rich backgrounds and stories, that are doing things in different ways than I do them, and yet achieving amazing heights with their own careers. And why I say that is, a president and CEO's role is really focused on, where the organization is going, and ensuring that the right leaders are in place that are making those day-to-day level decisions, creating the structures and the process that allows us to do what we're doing today. Because the CEO's role is to really paint that picture. Here's where we are going as an organization. Here's some things that we could be doing better, and really being that visionary, as well as that communication tool up and down the organization. So for me, one of the things I love most is those conversations with our employees. So it's talking to someone who's worked for us in manufacturing for over 20 years, and still loves coming in, day out, and is so proud of the job that they do. And an example is, a lot of our employees are blind, and are very passionate about the work we do to support our military. And they can't serve, but they take pride in sewing uniforms, and knowing that their work is going, internationally and across seas, or taking donations and talking with our donation attendant at one of our stores about their experience, and talking with a donor who is lovingly giving this heirloom sometimes because they want it to go to a good home. And Um, Nowadays, it's being responsive to a partner. Our Good Neighbor program works with other nonprofits, and I got an email from Isabel at Saints Place earlier this week because they are almost out of furniture and they need dressers for refugees that they're resettling. And she wrote me in an email, 2 years ago, you told me if we're ever low on something to reach out to you. And our team at the stores and the warehouse, we were able to mobilize and have a shipment of dressers going to them tomorrow. And it's just amazing because all of us have the singular purpose of showing up and doing as much as we can where we have the ability to do so. Because that's the other thing in our community. We have a lot of great organizations. So, your job as president and CEO is also to make sure that we're not duplicating efforts. And when a program already exists, that we're not taking away from what someone else is already doing. So that spirit of collaboration is one of the most favorite parts of my role, is getting to work with other organizations, other leaders, as well as our own team.
Awesome, Jen. Hold that thought. We're going to come back in 30 seconds. And what we're going to go on to now is talk about the next round is some of the highlights and some of the challenges for you personally. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, we are back. You are watching or listening to the 30. I am Patrick, your host, and today's guest is Jennifer Lake. She's the president and CEO of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. So, Jen, as we move into the final phase of our conversation, what are some of the highlights personally as president and CEO, and some of the things that may not be highlights, some of the challenges? So, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think the good and honestly the best is, our organization really has pivoted and flexed to say yes to whatever the community has really needed from us over this last 2-year period. And why it's such an important high is because we have people deployed and cross-trained, and that spirit really allowed us to take about triple the number of calls to our 211 Lifeline consistently now all over the last 2 years. And we've been able to do it and only lose a handful of employees at a time when, you hear about this great, labor loss, the great resignation is what they're calling it. In our calls, are really talking to people when they are truly at a low point in their life where they don't know how they're going to feed their family or pay their rent or keep their heat on. And it's, as cold as it is right now. And it's also life and death. So it's individuals who are contemplating suicide. And the support across our entire organization with individuals feeling good about the work we're doing has been incredibly beneficial. And Goodwill has been funding a lot of our COVID responses in terms of the half of the cost of the Monroe County COVID hotline. We've been doing vaccine appointment and vaccine questions across the Finger Lakes region through those collaborations. And it's just been such a high to be of service and to dedicate additional resources to do what's right, even though, we didn't always know how we were going to pay for it.
All right, Jen, as we wrap up, we usually put our guests on what we call the hot seat with some rapid fire. And this allows our viewers to really look inside and see, well, oh, wow, he or she is a person just like me, right? So kind of personalize our guests a little bit. So we're going to put you on the hot seat. couple of things. We're going to start off with, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food, pizza, hands down. I love it. And if you could put a nice filet on top of the pizza, even better.
Oh, geez. Okay. The best city that you visited. Favorite city.
Oh, favorite city, I'll say New York City. There's just something about New York, is especially around the holidays.
Okay. Favorite movie.
Bicentennial Man. It's an oldie but a goodie with Robin Williams. So check that out. A lot of people haven't seen it, but a really great, heartwarming story. And after it is kind of when my husband and I realized we should probably get engaged.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So it has some meaning to you, for you.
It does.
Last book you've read.
What
Lord.
cats want. I just read it on Monday. You know, we have a cat, and it's about cat behaviors and why they do the things they do.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've heard it. Your favorite words to live by.
Mm. You know, it's less words, but really, it's Maya Angelou's quote. You know, and for me, it's really thinking about every interaction I have with people, and how I want them to remember that interaction. Because it's not what you say, you know, it's not what you do, it's how people feel.
I like that. That's good. I'm gonna have to remember that one. Awesome. Jen, any last words before we depart?
You know, I think it's just, you know, as you're watching this, you know, it's realizing that each of us are amazing. And we tell ourselves stories about what we can and can't accomplish. And whatever it takes to embrace the positivity and the willingness to succeed for whatever that is in your life, I hope that each of you can truly see that, embrace it, and move forward, because so many of us languish in that I can't do it, you know, I'm not good enough, but you are. And all of us, myself included, still to this day have those moments where we feel like an imposter.
Mhm.
And it's not the reality, because deep down we are all amazing individuals. And you can absolutely do whatever you want to put your mind to, and asking for help will get you even farther in that process.
Awesome. Great words. Thank you, Jennifer. This has been fantastic. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us and talk to our viewers and listeners. So thank you so very much. And my prayer for you and your family is that this year will be an even better year than last year.
Thank you, Patrick. So appreciate it.
All right. So we've been talking to Jennifer Lake, President and CEO of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. And this is the 30. This is what we do each week. We bring a dynamic guest in and just have a chat. So make sure that you are here next week. If you are around, you can also watch it on replay. We stream live to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you miss any of our previous episodes, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel under the Jackman Group LLC. And while you're there, also like our channel on YouTube. Now, I have an announcement to make, and this is exciting. So we started, and this relates more to the Jackman Group, who produces this show along with myself. But we officially launched the Jackman Group LLC back in January the 25th of 2011. So this will be our 10th year in business. So we're going to do something special. We're going to, those of you that are in learning and development, because we are a learning and development company. We have years of experience in learning and development, in training and facilitating. So if you would like to learn more about the effectiveness of training, you're going to have to join us on February 24th, where we're going to be doing something around training the trainers, right? A train the trainer session. especially for those in the learning and development field. So more to come, stay tuned, but it's in celebration of our 10th year in business as a learning and development organization. So stay tuned, more is going to come, but we're going to celebrate our 10th year in 10 years. I can't even believe it. And we'll coincide that with 2 years under 30. So I want to thank you for being here. We will see you next week, next Thursday. May God bless you and your family. Please be safe. Take care now.